Welcome back to Crux Stationalis, the Roman Station Church Network, where we journey through the Lenten station churches of Rome, uncovering their rich history, theological significance, and sacred beauty. I'm Jacob Stein, and today, on this second Sunday of Lent, our pilgrimage takes us to Santa Maria in Domnica. We have to deal with a dirty word today: iconoclasm. This lesser known yet stunning basilica, perched on the Celian Hill, is a hidden gem of Roman sacred art and devotion. It boasts of one of the earliest examples of Marian apse mosaic, with the Madonna enthroned at its center, a striking artistic and theological statement against the backdrop of ninth century Rome. To understand the significance of Santa Maria in Domnica's mosaic, we need to look at the larger history of apse mosaics in Rome. The tradition of apse mosaics in Rome has its origins in the early 5th century, with the first known example in Western art appearing in the Basilica of Santa Pudenziana around 410 AD. This is our first time I've mentioned apse mosaics. This is the first time that we're going to talk a little bit more about one. But as we go to Santa Pudenziana in a couple of weeks, we're going to have an even greater understanding of just what art can do to speak to those who are looking upon it, also just change an understanding of a people by imagery jam-packed with theology. So I'm really excited. It's my favorite, one of my favorite station churches to go to, and we're going to really, yeah. Anyways, we need some context. So that's what we're doing here. As I said, this apse mosaic in Santa Pudenziana appeared around the year 410 AD. The mosaic there depicts Christ enthroned among the apostles. It marked the beginning of just this rich artistic tradition that would define the visual identity of Rome's churches for centuries. However, with the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the year 476 AD, the artistic heart of mosaic production shifted to Ravenna, which sort of sits a little bit south of Venice on the Adriatic coast of Italy. The Ostrogothic and later Byzantine rulers adorned the churches in Ravenna with intricate, shimmering mosaics, perhaps the most famous being in San Vitale and Santa Apollinare in Classe. However, by the 9th century, Rome was navigating this changing world. The Byzantines were losing their grip on Italy, and the Carolingians had emerged as protectors of the papacy. In this moment of transformation, Pope Paschal I comes onto the scene from the years 817 to 824, and he led a remarkable revival of monumental mosaics, commissioning stunning works in Santa Prassede, Santa Cecilia in Trastevere, and our focus today, Santa Maria in Domnica. The mosaic at Santa Maria in Domnica, which, by the way, if you want to see visually, you can go to the description of the podcast and you can reach the video tour there of the church. But this is meant to give you more context on the historical, theological explanation than I'm able to do in a YouTube video. But this mosaic at Santa Maria in Domnica is a bold statement of faith, directly responding to the iconoclastic controversy raging in the Byzantine Empire at the time. Again, we're speaking about the early 9th century. While the Eastern Church was debating the legitimacy of sacred images, Rome was doubling down on the importance of sacred art. At the heart of the apse, we see Our Lady enthroned. Seated on a magnificent scarlet cushion, she holds the Christ child, depicted as a miniature adult, a common Byzantine artistic motif, emphasizing his divine wisdom. Interestingly, the Virgin holds a napkin. We see this also in the icon of Salus Populi Romani, which we explored on Ember Wednesday at Santa Maria Maggiore on our YouTube video tour. But this image of her holding a napkin presents her as a princess, as a Byzantine princess, and recognizes her as queen. And it's further linking these mosaics to sort of Eastern influences. Surrounding her is a heavenly host of angels, standing amidst a field of flowers, a true vision of celestial glory. Kneeling at her feet is Pope Paschal I, who is distinguished by a square halo, an artistic convention indicating that he was still alive when the mosaic was completed. His presence in the composition is not merely a self-insertion, but it's also a theological declaration. He presents himself as the Virgin's humble servant, reaffirming the papacy's devotion to the Mother of God. Why is this imagery so important? At this time, the Byzantine Empire was embroiled in the iconoclastic controversy, a movement that sought to ban religious images. The depiction of the Madonna at the center of the apse was more than just an artistic choice. It was a deliberate theological stand against the iconoclast. The mosaic proclaimed that sacred images were not just permissible, but essential in expressing the truths of the faith. By commissioning it, Paschal I was aligning Rome with the defenders of sacred art, ensuring that the city's churches would continue to proclaim the faith visually as well as liturgically. Above the apse, the triumphal arch walls depict Christ enthroned on a rainbow within a mandorla, an almond-shaped aura of divine light. He's flanked by two angels, while the 12 apostles approach from the sides, as if in a celestial procession. Flanking the apse below are two mysterious figures. Traditionally, they were identified as Saints Peter and Paul, but recent scholars argue that they might actually be Moses and Elijah, the Old Testament figures who appeared at Christ's transfiguration. Just remember, the gospel for yesterday, for Ember Saturday, was the transfiguration himself. We went to the tomb of St. Peter. We heard Peter himself say, "Lord, it is good for us to be here." And then today, on the second Sunday of Lent, we come to this apse mosaic. These things aren't disconnected, I would say. It shows you the sort of how this pilgrimage of the Roman station churches strings together. It's not just an exploration of the historic churches of Rome. It's truly a spiritual walk going through, getting closer to Easter, through the liturgy, through procession, through the visiting of the tombs of the martyrs, through these prominent churches of Sunday, which sort of take us out of some of the Sundays, take us out of this pilgrimage of martyrs. Today we're not particularly going to a martyr, but we're going to this significant church, which has this history that I'm telling you. There's a reason why it's so important. Below the Virgin and Child in the mosaic, there's a Latin inscription which proclaims the basilica's renewal. It says, "This house was once broken down in ruins. Now it glistens for all time, being decorated in various metals. Behold, God belongs to it. It shines like Phoebus in the world after the foul covering of horrible night flees. Virgin Mary, for you, Paschal, the trustworthy leader, joyfully founds this house to remain forever." This poetic dedication reinforces the spiritual and artistic revival that Pope Paschal sought to achieve. And we're going to come across Pope Paschal throughout the Roman station churches. It was a renewal that continues to inspire us today. The church, Santa Maria Domnica, stands truly as a testament to the power of sacred art. Also, I just want to tell you one thing you need to do is check out the YouTube video of the virtual tour, because the ceiling is much later, but it also kind of invokes the litany of Our Lady. There's another Roman station church that we'll come to, San Marcello al Corso, and it's a similar ceiling. So we'll talk about it again. But go watch the video, and you can explore just how beautiful this, like looking up, and you're seeing images that represent Our Lady. So how fitting is it to tie this further additional art of the ceiling, the coffered ceiling, to the apse itself to reinforce. And upon the walls, you also have titles of Our Lady there. That's the program. The program is really to express the truths of the faith, and also to inspire, to reinforce the faith of the believers who are looking upon it. And this enduring devotion in this basilica to the Virgin Mary, and the determination of the papacy to defend the faith even in turbulent times, like during the iconoclastic controversy. It's so important to recognize the power of these depictions. And so as we continue our Lenten journey, let this basilica remind us of the eternal beauty of Christ's church, a beauty that shines forth not only in stone, not only in mosaic, but in the souls of the faithful. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of Crux Stationalis here at Santa Maria in Domnica. Don't forget to subscribe if you're listening from Spotify, if you're watching from YouTube. Subscribe and share this video with your family and friends. And don't forget to watch the virtual video tour of Santa Maria in Domnica, linked in the video description. And as always, you can find me at romanstationchurch.com. I'll see you tomorrow at the Basilica of San Clemente.